Hello everyone, this is Muskan Arora from Simi Foundation. In the previous class, we have read about partnership. So the today's topic is types of partners. There are six type of partners: active partners, dormant partners, nominal partners, and so on. We will read it further. First is active partner. Who is an active partner in a partnership? Active partner is a person who takes part actively in the management of a firm. Active partner is a person who invests money in the business, and he takes the part as an active person in the daily operation of the partnership. A person who takes an active interest in the conduct and management of the business firm is known as active or managing partner. Second one is sleeping or dormant partner. We call it as dormant partner. Now, from the name itself, it is uh, telling us about what is sleeping partner. Sleeping partner is a person who provides some of the some of the capital for the business, but he don't take part in the uh, daily day-to-day functioning activities or daily management of the firm. He does not take active part in the management of the firm, though as he has invested his money, shares, profit and loss, and unlimited liability. Nominal partner. Nominal partner is a partner who only gives his name and goodwill to the firm, but he neither invests his money nor takes any profit from the money, but his liability is unlimited. Minor as a partner. Minor as a partner means minor. Who is minor? Minor is a person who has not attained, who is not of age 18 years. So the minor in that case, such a minor is not capable of enlarging into a valid agreement, though he cannot become the partner of the firm. However, a minor can be admitted to the benefits of an existing partnership firm with the mutual consent of all the partners. He cannot bear the losses, but his liability will be limited to the extent uh, to which he has contributed the capital amount, which the amount of which the capital is contributed. His liability will be limited to that only. Third is Fourth one is partner by estoppel. What is partner by estoppel? He is the one who by his words or conduct gives impression to the outside world that he is a partner of the firm, whereas actually he is not. It means he acts as a partner, but he is not a partner in real. His liability is unlimited towards the third party who has entered into the dealing with the firm on the basis of his pretensions. Like, I am acting that I am the partner of this firm, but in reality, I am not. And if I am consoling, or if I am forcing, or if I am asking someone to deal with us, then I have a unlimited liability towards that party, not to the firm. Next is partner by holding out. He is the one who he is that partner who is falsely declared partner of the firm, whereas actually he is not. And even after becoming aware of it, he does not deny it. His liability is unlimited toward the party who has deal with firm on the basis of this declaration. Such person is responsible to the person who has given loan to the firm on his representation, because the loan has been given by assuming that he is or she is the member of the firm. So what is a partnership deed? Partnership deed is an agreement. First of all, let me tell you, there is one more partner in the business, that is secret partner. Secret partner is the one who participates in the business secretly without disclosing his association with the firm to general public. His liability is also unlimited. Okay. So next is partnership deed. Partnership deed is an agreement between the partners of a firm that shows the terms and condition of partnership among the partners. It is a written agreement on a stamped paper. What is included in the partnership form? Partnership deed, sorry. First of all, name of the firm. Second one is address of the firm or the location where it is situated. Third one is duration of the business. Like if the business has been started, like we will do the business for 2 years or suppose 3 years. Then the duration of business is that time period for which you have started the business. Investment made by each partner. If there are 4 partners and each one is investing, like one is investing 1 lakh, other one is invest, and other 3 are investing 2 lakh, then that investment which is made by each partner is shown into partnership deed. Next is profit sharing ratio of the partners. Profit sharing ratio is also defined in the partnership deed, whether the profits will be shared equally or on some different basis. Terms relating to salary, drawing, interest on capital, interest on drawing of partners. The terms and conditions are also mentioned related to the salary, how much salary will be provided to each partner, what will be the drawing, what will be done on the, what will be the interest on capital, what will the percentage of interest on drawings of partners. Next is duties and obligation of partners. Being a partner, what is the duty and obligation of the partner towards the business is also mentioned in the partnership deed. Terms governing admission, retirement, and expulsion of the partner, preparation on accounts, and their auditing. Everything is given related to the admission, retirement, or anything related to anything of the partner. If a partner is getting admitted, if a new partner is coming into the business, if due to the death any partner is leaving the business or due to retirement, everything is mentioned to partnership deed. Method of solving the disputes. If there will be any dispute, how that dispute will be solved, it is also mentioned in the partnership deed. These are some of the companies which are in the partnership. Like we all know Pepsi, Pizza Hut, McDonald's, Burger King, and others. You can see it is on the screen. Next one. Next is cooperative society. What is a cooperative society? Cooperative society is a voluntary association which is started by the group of people, a group of persons that unite together to protect or to promote their common economic interest. Right? Basically, these groups are generally formed by poor people or the weaker section of the society. It reflects the desire of the people, poor people, to stand on their legs or on their own merit. They form the business, like these group of people have the common goals, and they indulge together to form a society. That is cooperative one. Next is features of the cooperative society. First one is voluntary association. Everyone have, as we all know, cooperative society is a society in which everyone has a common interest. So everyone is free to join a cooperative society and can also leave the society after giving a prior notice. Second one, open membership. We all know you can come anytime and you can leave anytime, but giving a prior notice. separate legal entity. Its registration is compulsory and it is given a separate legal entity. It gives a separate legal entity. Next, the voting part. Management and control lies with the managing committee elected by the members by giving vote, and every member in that cooperative society has one vote irrespective of the number of shares held by them. Next is service motive. The main aim is to serve its member and not to maximize the profit. The cooperative societies are basically formed for the welfare of the people, not for the profit motive. Source of finance, the the liability of the member is limited to the extent of their capital contribution in the society, and it acts as a source of finance. Next, merits and demerits of the cooperative society. First one is easy formation. It can be formed, it can be started with the minimum of 10 members and maximum of unlimited members. How many members are there into the business who want to join voluntarily? A registration is also easy as it requires few legal formations. Limited liability. The liability of the members is limited to the extent of their capital contribution. Elimination of middleman's profit. The middleman profit is eliminated as the cooperative society are formed for the welfare of the people. Democratic control. Government provides support by giving loans at lower interest rates, subsidies, and charging less taxes. Stable assistance. Due to registration, it is a separate legal entity and is not affected by the death, insolvency, or lunacy of any of its members. Stable life. Due to registration, it is a separate legal entity. We have already read. And next one is disadvantages of the cooperative society. Limited capital. We can also say the shortage of capital. It suffers from shortage of capital as it is usually formed by people with the limited means. Next is problems in management. Cooperative society is managed by elected members. Maybe they are competent or maybe they are not. Maybe they are experienced, maybe they are not. Moreover, it cannot afford to employ expert and experienced people at high salaries. Next is lack of motivation. Members are not inclined to put their best efforts as there is no direct link between the efforts and rewards. Next is lack of cooperation. The people, maybe the members are of different sections of the society with different viewpoints. Sometimes the conflicts occur and there is lack of cooperation in that society. Dependence on government. It suffers from excessive rules and regulations of the government. It has to get its accounts audited by the auditor and who has to submit a copy of its account to the registrar. That is why they have to depend on the government. These are the example of cooperative society. First one is Amul, which we all know. They have the tagline, the taste of India. And Amul was started in Gujarat, an Indian coffee house. Next is Joint Stock Company. Joint Stock Company is a voluntary association of persons which is formed for the profit motive and have a capital divided into transferable shares, the ownership of which is the condition of its membership. Shareholders are able to transfer their shares to others without any effects to the continued existence of the company. Features of a joint stock company. First one is artificial legal person. It is created by law and it has a distinct legal entity independent of its member. It can own the property, enter into the contracts, and can file suits in its own name. Next is separate legal. Next is separate legal existence. We have already read perpetual succession. Perpetual succession means death, insolvency, or insanity, or anything, or change of the members has no effect on the life of the company. If anyone can come and go, it can come to an end only through the prescribed legal procedure. Limited liability. The liability of every member is limited to the nominal value of the shares bought by him or the amount guaranteed by him. The shares can be easily transferable and can be easily transferred, but there are certain restrictions on the transfer of share of private company. Okay, common seal. Common seal. It is a common seal is basically an official signature of the company, and it is affixed on all important documents of the company. Next is transferability of shares. We have already read. The shares can be easily transferred. Separations of ownership and management. Management of the company is in the hands of the elected representatives of the shareholders, known individually as directors and collective as the board of directors. These are the merits and demerits of the joint stock company. Merits is merits are easy to form and wind up. We have already read. We can easily form a joint stock company and we can easily wind up the joint stock company. There is nothing to worry about. Quick decision and prompt action. We can take the quick decisions in the joint stock company and can promptly act on that decision. Direct motivation. We can directly motivate the person as there is a group of people for the profit motive. Flexibility in operation. A company can afford to employ highly qualified experts in the different areas of management. Maintenance of business secrets. Business secrets are kept secretly as the government has less interference in the joint stock company. Personal touch. We can be in the personal touch with the people, with the persons who are in the company. Demerits of joint stock company. Limited resources. They are the limited resources as there are less people in the and as the resources will be kept limited. Lack of continuity. If any of the person is like this is not continuing anymore, it can come to an end through a prescribed legal procedure. Unlimited liability. The liability of the shareholder reduces the risk borne by him and not suitable for large scale operation. It is not suitable for the large scale operation, and the like company is managed but actually managed by few people of the board of directors. Limited managerial expertise. Sometimes the board of director takes decision keeping in mind their own interest and benefit, ignoring the interest of the shareholders and the company. Thank you. We will continue in the next class.